Hey guys, what is going on? Lego Ninjago here, and welcome back to another comparison where today I'll be comparing the Lego Ninjago Spinjitzu Legacy to the Lego Ninjago Forbidden Spinjitzu. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first I'll start with the Lego Ninjago Spinjitzu Legacy set. So each of them did come with a brand new version of the ninja to celebrate like a legacy sort of version of them. And I thought it was really cool how we did get them in a Spinjitzu set. Cheap and a really nice way to get them instead of just buying all like the Lego Ninjago Legacy sets from like seasons 1 to 2 I believe. Like that's where the ninja were. So it's definitely really awesome to get a really nice minifig like this. And then you also do get their Spinjitzu piece. I also really like the shaping and the color of it. I like how it does sort of work for the ninja with like a translucent green and a gold to sort of symbolize Lloyd. And then you do get 3 separate builds to that because like you can attach them to these bars here. So like you can have like a sort of a little mini tournament with them. So you do get like these sort of tooth pieces in a green, and like you can very easily just detach them like that and then connect it. So I like how instead of just getting like pieces like that, I like how they have like this sort of setup here so like you can easily display instead of just having like just a bunch of small pieces just lying around. And there is this one here, and this is probably my favorite one because I really like these printed tile pieces, or like the circular tile pieces. And then the final one is this really cool sword one, and I definitely really like this one as well, especially for like this sort of almost translucent like sword piece. So now moving on to the Forbidden Spinjitzu. For each of them you also do get a minifig, but in my opinion I definitely think these Forbidden Spinjitzu sets definitely had some really awesome and exclusive minifigs, because with the Legacy versions of the ninja, you would just see them in like the Season 1 and 2 Legacy sets. So I just wish they maybe added something to it to look a little more cooler or exclusive. But I definitely really like the amount of detailing on his torso with like this sort of ripped effect, and it does sort of shine in the light, so that is really cool. And then his legs are a little lazy because they're just like his Season 11 versions of his legs, and also maybe Season 12 I believe. And then his ninja mask is definitely really awesome. I love the silver coloring with like this sort of blue flame coming out to, I believe, represent his elemental power, which is ice. And then I also really love his facial expression with like this butterfly almost effect because it is symmetrical, and then he does have another one. And then I also like how they do continue like the sort of ripped effect on the back of the torso. And then the Spinjitzu piece for this is a little different, but I do like the shape and the mold of it. It is definitely a little more different to this one, but it is a sort of similar height. But I definitely do prefer this one because I just wish they maybe made it just a little more taller in a way, or maybe just a little more wider. And I kind of don't really like how it is almost all translucent, whereas this one does have like a sort of solid color going around instead of just on the bottom. So I just wish they maybe had just a bit more of a color to it. And then the build for the Spinjitzu piece, because you do not get any builds for this one, so like you can just easily spin it, which we'll see soon. So the Forbidden Spinjitzu definitely had this very interesting play feature with this, and this was definitely what did raise the price in my opinion. But I do like the build of it, nice and small instead of like this really big sort of chunky build. And like they do include some other things as well, like this practice dummy for Zane. I do really like the build of this for this. Very simple and just really effective, and it sort of does sort of count as like these 3 builds here. And then you also do get 2 of the same build, which are like these sort of, or what are they called, like blades in a way, and they do actually connect to this as well. So these definitely have some similarities with like including the Spinjitzu piece and then a minifig and then just some small side builds. But then these ones are a little more big, and they actually do attach to the Spinjitzu piece instead of like being like a side build, or actually you can spin it. But the main difference would probably be the function of how the Spinjitzu piece does work, because with the Legacy one you can just very easily spin it, but I don't think it works on carpet as well as like a hard surface. So you just spin it. Oh, that wasn't even on camera. So you just spin it and it just works really nicely like that. Whereas the Forbidden Spinjitzu, you actually use this very interesting and I think effective play feature, but it doesn't work as well as carpet. But I mean, it doesn't work as well as like hard surface. So you just slam on that and it sort of spins pretty nicely, but I definitely think the Legacy one does work a little more better because it does sort of stay up. It doesn't sort of like come off and sort of roll around like that, whereas this one is sort of like stays up like that. So I definitely think that play feature is a little more better because like instead of just rolling around like that. But I definitely think these side builds for the Forbidden Spinjitzu is a little more better because you actually can spin these as well. So I definitely think that is a little more fun instead of just like attaching builds to the sort of Spinjitzu piece, so you can just very easily do that, because once you do attach it, it does get really heavy, and like when you spin it sort of like goes like that in a way, so you have to like spin it pretty nicely. And once you do attach them, like you can't put your fingers anywhere to spin it, so like you basically have to like go from like down here, but it's just really fiddly, and like there's no good position to actually do that. So my final thoughts on these two sets is that the Legacy one is just a tad more better than the Forbidden Spinjitzu one, only because it does have some really nice side builds, and the Spinjitzu piece is a little more better. But then the minifig for the Forbidden Spinjitzu is definitely a lot more cooler and awesome because it is exclusive to the Forbidden Spinjitzu set. And then how you actually do the sort of Spinjitzu with like this really cool and effective play feature is definitely really cool, but I don't think it was executed well because, as I did show you, like you spin it and it sort of rolls around like that, whereas this one, it sort of has a really nice smooth motion to it. But then there is a main difference with that as well, because when you do spin this, like it does spin pretty nicely, but then when you do attach these sort of accessories on the Spinjitzu piece, it sort of is a bit sort of heavy and sort of tops over. So I definitely think the Spinjitzu with like the sort of spinning part for the Forbidden Spinjitzu is definitely a lot more better without like these sort of pieces for the regular Spinjitzu piece. So I definitely think that one is just a tad more better. So, hope you guys did enjoy this video because I really did enjoy sharing my thoughts and opinions on both of these Spinjitzu sort of sets, because it was definitely very interesting and enjoyable to do something like this instead of just comparing minifigs or like an actual Lego set. So I would definitely love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below, and as always guys, hope you guys did enjoy this video and I can see you soon. Goodbye!